There are countless videos on the internet gushing about Persona 5 style, so I won't tread over what everyone else and their mother already knows. Usually with these videos I've been leaning into a format where I like to introduce the concept historically and then give a bit of my perspective on where I think the trajectory has gone and how it reflects the modern use in games. However, I already kind of talked about UIs for RPGs on some video I made like several months ago when I was just starting out making devlogs about Thornetica. That was my second devlog, I'm pretty sure. No, it might have been the third. It was that most definitely the third. Anyways, there will be a link to that video in the description below if you'd like to see a bit of how the menus started coming about and yeah, get my perspective on RPG menu design and stuff. The past couple of weeks I've been taking some much needed time off and I'm actually quite close to beating Persona 3 Reload, at least I think so. Amazing game. I started it months ago and when I did I was immediately naturally blown away from the menus and how they mixed dynamic 2D visuals with gorgeous 3D models. And I thought I could take some inspiration from it. Thornetica's menus at the time looked serviceable, but kind of giving off this vibe of guy in his parents' house trying his best. I thought it'd be epic to have a realistically proportioned 3D model of the main character, Gerard, and have him appear in different poses throughout the different tabs of the main menu, just like how Makoto appears in Persona 3. So I naturally put myself to work by asking other people to work for me and trying to commission some of my friends to make a 3D model of Gerard for me, paying them, of course, paying them. And they said no. They said no to money. They were too busy at the time with their own projects and uni stuff and the like. So by this point, I was really curious to see how this style would look, so I decided to rip Makoto's model from Persona 3 and implement him into Thornetica's menus, and it looked so cool. I was convinced we needed this, but other stuff took hold and I prioritized other aspects of the game for a while. When it came the point to releasing the demo, I still had this sprite of Makoto in there and I didn't really want to get rid of it. I mean, I could have released the demo and just like removed the sprite, but I was like, no, we cannot remove it. We have to replace him. We need a 3D model of Gerard. So I dusted off Blender and started working on it. It's been a while since I'd modeled anything, so it was a decent challenge and it remains the most detailed model I've ever done, I think. I think I pulled it off quite well. I didn't bother texturing it because, I mean, it'd be fun and an instructive experience in itself, but it wasn't really necessary for the style I wanted. Truthfully, I probably added too much details. I was having too much fun adding pointless stuff like detailing the face and the mouth and the shoes, etc. I mean, at the end of the day, those things are noticeable in game, but if I decide to do something else with this model, they're there now, I guess. So, with the model done, I used Mixamo's free rigger and animator to apply some free animations to it. They're like general stuff, an idle, a sitting animation, that sort of stuff. I could have done it myself, but I already spent plus 20 hours on the model, so I wasn't keen on doubling that with doing the rigging, and yeah, I was on a tight deadline for the demo's release, so that got the job done. Time came about to export it into Godot. But how? How do we go from this to this? Well, it was a bit of improvising and testing. There's no set path to achieve an effect you want in a game that's like similar to something that you've seen, but I also don't really know the technical stuff behind how they make it happen in Persona, so I basically had to just like try my best to replicate it in a style that complements Thornetica. Basically, in Blender I'd apply a black material to the model, record the animation in a cel-shaded mode, convert the animation into a sprite sheet, use a sprite or color editing software such as PixelArt to limit the sprite's color to my palette, and then import the frames into a animated sprite 2D node in Godot. And then let's add some pizzazz to the Gerard model, the elements, everything. So they use my twinning system and they pop in and out when you open the menus. Yeah, this is really fun and it gives a lot more charm and dynamism to the menus, but also involves solving about 348,000 bugs with the UI system because all of the twinnings going on, bashing my head against the wall constantly as I moved to work on another aspect of the game, and then was suddenly surprised by the pleasant discovery of, oh, the twins on the menu have broken again. That'll be fun to solve. So you'll see also that each tab of the menu features different shaders to display cool stuff, abstract shit. I mean, don't ask me what the fuck this is, but it looks pretty dope, isn't it? Yeah, I'll be brutally honest, I am pretty inexperienced when it comes to shaders. I usually take them from Godot shaders, which if you're a dev using Godot and you're not using Godot shaders, what are you doing? It's an amazing compendium of all sorts of 3D and 2D effects that you can just copy and pop into your game. They're completely free, done by the community, and they can really spice up your game. Let's dive into it. Both the social and setting tabs use this earthbound style distortion with color cycling. The social panel uses these vines I drew as a texture. When you check the affinigram, you can also see that there's a shader that tiles the vine sprite across a line, signaling the relation between two characters. You see vines with thorns, Thornetica, and really quite clever. The units panel uses some fancy math wizardry to distort the texture's UVs. The texture in itself is just a backdrop with silhouettes of the different units in the game. The diary panel uses something similar, but instead of the units it uses this diamond texture, which was originally what I was using for all of the menus in the game, but I couldn't come up with anything else. It looks pretty good here. Let me know how you feel about Thornetica's UI. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you annoyed at me that I regularly don't use margins or a grid system? Let me know your thoughts down below and any further game dev topics that you'd want me to talk about in the future. Until next time, Lazy Game Dev out.